Okay, hello. This is Yang Family Tai Chi long form, and we're doing section 1. And today's new move is going to be raise hands and step forward. But first, we're going to review what we've done thus far. So let's just do it once, starting from the beginning. So I'm going to turn around and we'll start at prepare. So head up, hips down, hands by your side. Prepare. Opening, rotate your arms and lift up to shoulder level. Press down, almost to the bottom. Grasp the bird's tail, ward off left. Shift left, turn right, all the weight on the right. Step forward and close, shift, and open. Ward off right, shift right, turn the left toe to the corner, pull with the left, ward off down with the right, pull in the right foot, step and close, shift weight and separate. Roll back, rotate to the corner as you rotate your arms. Come back. As you shift weight back, turn to the other corner. Press, pull in the right, attach the left, and press forward. Push, square up your shoulders, flatten your hands. Come back over a ball, hands in front of your chest, and push to shoulder level. Single whip, extend and flatten your hands. Turn, right toe to the corner, hands to the other side. Press down, release the left foot. Ward off with the left, hook hand with the right. Standing ward off, step, deflect, strike. Okay, how did that go?
I think it went fine.
Okay, so I want to do just a little bit of review in terms of making sure the bits and pieces work well. Okay, yes, go ahead. Did you have a question?
No, I was waving goodbye to someone. Sorry.
Okay. So
I'm in someone's space, so it's.
yeah. So I'm going to do it from the other direction so you can see a little bit better. Okay. So after I'm pushing, when I'm doing single whip, I want to emphasize that. Well, let's break it down. Okay. If I'm at push, I am leaning forward. So I have an angle from the back of my left foot up to the base of my neck, right? When I'm turning, I am pushing back. I'm pushing back from the front so that my weight goes in the back. And the only weight I have left on the right foot is on the heel so that it can turn. And it's going to turn 135 degrees to the corner. Then I'm going to shift back and release the front foot. Why do I do that? It's so that it allows my hips to line up with my right foot. In order for my hips to line up with my right foot and go look toward the corner, I have to release the front foot. Then I pull in and step out, bow stance to the other side. So I'm making a bow stance 180 degrees from that side all the way around to this side. Okay?
When you're resting your left foot, is it sort of parallel to the right foot? Like,
It actually depends on your what should I say? Stride. So what I mean by that is, if my stride is longer, then when I come around, what will happen is that my right foot will clear my left foot. If it's shorter, then it won't. See, it'll bump. So
Right.
it has to do with how long your stride is. In any case, what you want to do is you have to release that front foot. Okay, so the position of the front foot doesn't really matter that much, because the purpose is to get your hips in position so that you can step out to a bow stance.
Okay.
So it's really a short transition. And your weight is on the back. So because you don't have any weight in the front, it makes less difference. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
So one more time. When you're at a bow stance, we're at push, I am leaning forward. When I shift my weight back to release this so that I can turn it, then I release the front so that I can move the weight to the back, and my hips are oriented to line up with my what is now my back foot. Then I can pull in the left and step out to the other side. Now, because the single width is a vertical stance, what happens is, instead of being to the corner, I'm actually going to end up being slightly more than corner. I'm going to push in my hip so that my torso can be straight up and down. Okay, so normally if I were doing a push here, you can see I would be leaning. But because I want to be straight up and down, since I basically have energy going both directions. That's why I'm going to be more vertical. Okay, and in order to be more vertical, I'm going to have to turn a little bit more this way and pull my hip in so that I can maintain that stance. So yes, I'm saying that we go from bow stance to bow stance, but the bow stances are slightly different. Okay, one is vertical and one has that slant to it. Okay, and to review the hands, what happens here is I'm at push. The first thing I do is I flatten my hands and slightly extend them. And my waist is going to lead this turn. So yes, my foot is going to turn to that corner, but at the same time, my waist is turning my hands to the other corner, to the other side. So the hands are actually going 180 degrees. And then they're going to press down as I release this front foot. So as I'm pressing down, my hips square up to that corner. And then I'm warding off with the left, hook hand with the right. Then standing ward off step deflect as I flatten and strike. And so as I strike, that's when I do that little bit more of a turn, a little bit more than corner. And what I want you to think of as you flatten your foot is, don't think of flattening the front foot. Think of pushing off the back leg that forces the weight into the front foot. Do you see what I'm saying? I want you to think of it like your energy is moving forward. So I think that visualization helps in terms of directing your energy.
Yes.
Okay?
Okay.
So let's the other thing is when you're turning, the other part of the visualization is here you're actually a little asynchronous. In other words, your waist is turning a little ahead of your arms. Can you see that? And your arms are not straight across. Essentially, it's like you're grabbing with the left and the right follows. Can you see that? And then you press down and come up. So you should feel like when I'm here, I'm pushing, I'm extending, and then I'm swinging somebody over there. Okay. So I want you to have that swinging feeling, and then press down, ward off with the left, and hook hand with the right. Now, the thing that's interesting about this ward off is actually not a ward off in the same sense as in grasp the bird's tail. It is only the ward off shape. In other words, when you are doing ward off left and right in grasp the bird's tail, you actually are thinking of warding off. You have the energy of coming up. Here, you have just the shape. The actual ward off is when you come here. The standing ward off is the real ward off. This is just a preparation, you might say, to get ready. And then when you step out to the standing ward off and you're to face you, it's like 45 degrees across your body. You're warding off here as you step. So when you're coming here, that's the ward off. And then you're deflecting and striking. Okay. So let's practice that a few times. Okay. So you're going from push. Would you prefer I went the same direction as you? Maybe?
Either way is fine. They're both useful.
Okay. Okay, well, I'll do it the same direction as you for a couple of times, and then I'll do it the other way so you can see better. Okay, so if we're pushing, both stance, right foot forward. Okay, then as you shift your weight back, flatten your hands and extend. Then turn the right foot and swing your hands over to the other side. Come back, release the front foot, ward off with the left, hook hand with the right, standing ward off, step, deflect, strike. The ending position. So I said that you're a little bit more than corner, and you are looking through your tiger's mouth. So you actually have to turn more. You have to turn your head more than you would think, because you're looking through your tiger's mouth and you're turning your shoulders more the other direction. Okay. So I'm going to do it this way because I think you see better this way. Okay, so you're pushing. Then, as you shift your weight back, flatten your hands. Then turn all the way around. Press down, release the front foot. Then ward off left, hook hand right. Then standing ward off, deflect, strike. So in terms of the height of your hands, okay, when you're here, your shoulders width, you're coming around, you're pressing down. When you press down, you're like chest height. When you're chest height, that's when you make this ward off with the left hand. But this hand comes to hook hand, and this is neck height. Okay, so this is lower than this. Can you see what I'm saying? Then when you do the standing ward off, it's actually pivoting on your elbow. Standing, deflect, strike. Okay?
Great.
We'll do a couple more times because this is a relatively complicated move. Okay, so you're at push. You're shifting weight back, flattening your hands. Turn and pull all the way around. Press down, release the front foot. Ward off with the left, hook hand with the right. Standing ward off, step, deflect, strike. One more time, push. Shift weight back as you flatten your hands. Turn and pull all the way around. Press down, release the front foot. Ward off with the left, hook hand with the right. Standing ward off, step, deflect, strike. One of the things that's important to remember as you do this is you want to maintain this extended feeling. So when you are coming around, your hands are extended, but when you come back, you still have this space here, right? You don't want to be here. You want to be, you're still maintaining your space. And then standing ward off, deflect, strike. So you want to have this ability to deflect while your hand is far away from you. You don't want your opponent to get too close to you. So stay away. Okay, so push. Right foot forward and shift back, flatten your hands, turn and swing around. Press down, release the front foot. Ward off left, hook hand right. Standing ward off step, deflect, strike. So let's smooth it out a little bit, okay? So we're going to go push, come back, turn, push down, hook, deflect, strike. How does that feel?
So still needs some smoothing, but getting there.
Okay, let's do it a couple more times because it helps to do it a few more times to get it to smooth out. Okay, so if you're pushing, you're coming back and flattening. You're turning and pulling. You're pressing down and releasing the front foot. Ward off left, hook hand right. Standing ward off, step, deflect, strike. One more time. Push. Shift weight back. Flatten hands. Pull and turn all the way around. Press down, release the front foot. Ward off left, hook hand right. Standing ward off, step, deflect, strike. Questions? Hi, Rima.
I find that I keep losing track of my left hand in the middle.
Okay.
When you're saying ward off left, my hand's nowhere near where it's supposed to be.
Well, think of it this way. When you start, okay, when you're at push, what's actually happening is you're pulling with the left. The right is just following, okay? And when you swing all the way back, then you press down and come back. And when you get to, your fingertips are facing each other, right? So when you get back to around chest, in front of your chest, then you turn the left and hook hand the right. Except when you, so here, when you're here, you should have already released the front foot. So you're not in this weird position. You see what I'm saying? Once you come back, you release the front foot so that your hips are comfortable, right? They're lined up with your back foot. So when you're in front, then all you're doing is you're rotating the left hand and you have a ward-off shape. You just rotate. And as you're rotating, you make your hook hand. Okay? So you push, flatten as you shift back, turn and pull, press down, release the front foot. And when you get in front of your chest, rotate the left hand, make your hook hand with the right. Standing ward off step, deflect and strike. Is that better?
Yeah,
I think you have to release your front foot. That's one of your problems.
Yes, I think I'm releasing it too late, but I know why I haven't paid attention to my hand there. It's where I'm usually starting to fall over. So I'm not thinking about my hands.
Right? So think about press down and release at the same time. Okay, so you're pushing, you're turning and pulling. And then when you press down, you release the front.
Yeah.
Yes? Okay. Let's do this one more time, and then we'll look at a new kind of footwork. Okay? So we're doing push, shift back, flatten hands, turn and pull all the way around, press down, release the front foot, ward off left, hook hand right, standing ward off, deflect and strike. Okay. The new foot, what we're going to do is going to be an empty stance. Now, what we have been doing is a bow stance. So a bow stance has one foot at 45 degrees and the other foot's shoulders width apart and straight ahead. The difference between an empty stance and a bow stance is that the feet, in terms of the pointing, is the same, but the weight distribution and the positioning is different. So here are your shoulders width apart. The empty stance is one line, two sides. So if you imagine I had a line here, I'm on either side of that line. And there are two kinds of empty stance. There's a heel touch where the whole heel is on the floor. And there's a ball touch where the whole ball of the foot is on the floor. So if it's a heel touch, the ball does not touch the floor. And if it's a ball touch, the heel doesn't touch the floor. Now, if you look at it from the side, one common confusion is that people think of an empty stance as being like a cat stance, and it's not. So what I call cat stance is when you have all your weight on the back leg and you just have your foot with almost no weight, okay? An empty stance has 70% of the weight on the back and 30% on the front. There is definitely weight on the front. And the reason is that it still is supporting, you know, it doesn't have as much weight. And the emphasis is on the back foot, but it is still supporting. And the stride length is the same. So remember when I told you that with a bow stance, how far do you step forward? If you have one foot at 45 degrees, you step forward as far as you can come back, okay? You can come back. If you have stronger legs, you can be lower. So you can have a longer stride, and because you can still come back, right? If you want it easier, then stand up higher. You will have a shorter stride, but it's easier for you to come back, okay? So the ability to come back determines the stride, regardless of whether it's a bow stance or an empty stance. Okay. So when you have an empty stance, what happens is that, like in the bow stance, for example, if you do a push or something like that, what happens is that you do heel, ball, toe, and then you have 60% go in the front. Right. So if you're looking at it from this angle, you know, you step out, heel, ball, toe, and 60% goes in the front. You're straightening out the back leg and bending the front leg. Okay. You're not going to go over your toe, but you are bending it. Okay. In the empty stance, what happens is that you're going to step out one line, two sides, and you're going to put 30% in the front. Now you still are going to have a bend, And instead of having the slant come from your heel to your neck, what you're going to do is this part of your leg is going to be more upright, but your bend is going to be from your hip. So it's going to be like that instead of like that. So the bow stance, you have 60% in the front because you're pushing off the back in order to get the weight into the front. When you have less weight in the front, then what happens is that the 70% is in the back, but you still are going to slant slightly forward, and it comes from the hip. Okay, so that's how that one works. Okay, so when you are, remember when we went from the left ward off to right ward off? Okay, so when we were at left ward off, I was at a bow stance. I was looking like this. When I go to right ward off, I shifted to the right and I turned my left foot so that my feet were parallel. And then I came in and I stepped out. Okay. So in this one, we're going to do a similar transition, but into an empty stance. So I'm going to show you what this looks like. The next move is going to be raise hands and step forward. So if I'm at single width, the way this move works is I shift back and I turn. This is kind of like from left ward off to right ward off, right? Then I push off the front. Empty stance, heel touch. Can you see that? So I am not this far apart. I am one line, two sides here. So if you just look at the footwork, I'll do it in the direction you would be doing it, which would be that if you were at single width going this way, what you would do is you would shift weight back, turn so that you are 45 degrees. That is going toward the corner. Your feet are parallel to each other. You shift weight to the left and then step out, one line, two sides, heel touch, and then you put 30% into the front foot. Okay? It is important that you put that 30% in the front foot. And like the bow stance, you're transferring from the back. And you see the back is pushing out so that you get that 30% in the front. Okay?
Rita, on the empty stance, you said put your whole heel on the floor. What did you mean by that?
So it means that here, I consider that putting your heel edge on the floor. Okay. That's putting my whole heel on the floor. In other words, if my hand were my foot, I would be putting this whole section on the floor, as opposed to just this little bit of the edge, okay? So the whole heel, like the whole pad of your heel goes on the floor, but the front of your foot is not on the floor. You see what I'm saying?
I think maybe it means that the front of your foot is not very far off the floor.
It is not very far off the floor. It's barely off the floor. It's just not touching the floor.
Okay.
Okay.
There's
So,
I've been doing
so
that.
it's hard for you to see, but
We can see.
so if my whole foot were on the floor, I would be here. But when just the heel is on the floor, I'm here. Okay, so I'm like half a centimeter off the floor in the front. Okay, so your whole heel is on the floor and 30% goes in there. So if I were doing it in the direction facing you, I would be doing bow stance going that way, putting my weight toward the back foot, turning this foot so that it's parallel, then shifting my weight to this because it's going to become the back foot. And then stepping out one line, two sides, and 30% goes in the front. Yeah, you'll know when, if, let's see, what direction can I do this from so that you can see better? Let's say I do it from here. Okay, if I'm at both stance here, okay, and I turn so my feet are parallel, and I shift my weight here, and I do it here, and then I'm going to move 30% to the front. So when I move 30% to the front, my front leg is still pretty straight. Can you see that? If I were moving more weight to the front, I would bend it, and you can see that that's a lot more weight to the front, right? Here, it's just 30% in the front.
So are you touching just the edge of your heel first and then the rest
Yes.
of your heel when you move?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So instead of in a bow stance, I touch and I go heel, ball, toe, bend knee. Here, I'm closer together, I touch, but then only the pad of my heel is down. And it's only 30%. Okay? So one more time, if I'm doing it facing you, I'm bow stance going that way. I shift weight to the right. I turn so my feet are parallel. Then I shift to the left. I pull in and I step out, heel touches, and then I put 30% on. Okay? Now, the hands. When we did single whip, what I wanted you to visualize is throwing somebody over and then striking somebody else. Okay. And then here you have another strike. This one is the energy is a breaking energy. It's like you're breaking somebody's elbow. So what happens is when you put your 30%, you're breaking. So this is a very different kind of energy from the outward energy that you had with all of the other ones. This comes together, okay? And it goes this way. The way Nancy describes it was It's like you're trying to clap and you miss, which is kind of funny actually. But so the way this ending looks is that it's a waist turn and your hands come toward your center line. Can you see? My hands are on either side of my center line. The center line is defined by my nose, okay? My nose tells where the center is, and my hands are on either side of that, okay? So how do I get there? Okay, when I'm at single width, my left hand is striking straight out from my shoulder. My right hand has the hook hand hitting somebody here in their throat. So the right hand is a little higher than the left hand because this is from the shoulder, this is at throat level, right? So when I come in, what happens is the way the hands work is as I turn here, no change in hands, but then I release the hook. And when I release the hook, the right hand is still a little higher than the left hand, right? Then I'm going to circle and come together. So there is a circling motion. Okay, so in terms of how it looks is when you're here, you're going to circle. You're going to circle, circle. Okay, and that's how your energy comes. You're making a circle and you're turning your waist at the end to get the energy into your hands. Okay, so when you're here, you release, you circle, and as your energy comes together, that's when that 30% goes into your heel. Okay, so when you're here, as you turn your left foot, you release your hook hand, and both hands are up. You're going to come back. And come together. So if you were to look at it from here, it would look like this. You see, like this. Like if you were looking at it from the top. Okay, so if you're here, you release, hands are up, come back, root and strike.
Could you do it so you end up looking sideways?
Okay, so if I am here, I turn, I release.
Okay.
Okay, so here, turn and release. Come back. Now, one of the things you have to be careful with is when you circle back, okay, you come here and you release, your hands are up. You're pushing off the ball of this foot, circling, root and 30%. Remember I told you that you still have to lean forward from your hips.
Mhm.
And why is that? What you don't want is this. You come back, you release, and you come here. You don't ever want to lean back. So you're bending at the hips, your upper body is always leaning forward. So here, you release. How do you maintain that leaning forward? As you come back, what you do is you take it up with your back leg. See, watch my back leg. Here, I'm releasing. I push off. Okay, so because my back leg is bent, I can maintain that forward lean. Okay, so that is the trick. Okay, so let me do it one more time from this, or I'll do it from this direction. I don't know if it helps, but let's try it. So from here, I turn, I push off. Now, one of the things you have to remember is in my final position, I'm one line, two sides with my hands, right? But I still have space underneath my armpits. I am not like this. I am coming together like this. Okay, so your ending position, your hands are kind of up. This hand is like facing the middle of your right forearm. Okay, but you're still relatively rounded as you come together because you are not collapsing your armpits. Your elbows are still out. Okay, so from this direction, I'm coming back. I'm releasing my right hand. So my hands are up, push back, circle, step, 30%. So the trick is that you have to make this continuous circle in order to generate the energy. Once you break, the movement, then you lose your energy. So when you're here, as you come out, release your hook hand, circle. Make it continuous. So from single whip, shift right, turn the left toe and release the hook hand. Come back, step and close. So as you close, you notice that you're turning a little bit more to the corner, right? Essentially, your ending stance lines up with your back foot. Your hips should line up with your back foot whenever you have an ending stance. So you're coming together. When you started, you're facing toward the front, but as you close, you're going toward the corner. So you're here. Actually, it's mainly a waist turn. Once you came here and pushed off, your hips are already toward the corner. it's your waist that turns your upper body. Your hips have already been there. Okay, so from single whip, you turn. So push off the front foot, circle, root, and come together. I always found this move looked a lot simpler than it actually is.
More what?
This move I think looks a little is simpler than it actually is, because there is a lot of shifting going on. So when you're at single whip, you shift the weight to the right, you turn the left toe to the corner, release the right hand, come back. Okay. So this is your first empty stance heel touch. Next week, it's going to be empty stance ball touch. Okay, how about we do it from the beginning, all the way up to where we just learned. And I'm going to turn around and I'll call it. Okay? So, prepare. Head up, hips down, hands by your sides. Opening. Rotate your hands as you come up to shoulder level and press down almost to the bottom. Grasp the bird's tail, ward off left. Shift left, turn right. All the weight on the right. Step and close. Shift weight open. Ward off right, shift right, turn the left toe to the corner, pull left, ward off down right, pull in the right foot, step and close, shift weight and separate. Roll back, turn to the corner as you rotate your hands. Turn to the other corner as you shift weight back. Press, pull in the right, attach the left, and expand forward. Push, square up your shoulders, flatten your hands, come back over a ball, hands in front of your chest, and push up to shoulder level. Single whip. Flatten your hands and turn and pull all the way around. Press down as you release the front foot. Ward off with the left, hook hand with the right. Standing ward off step, deflect, strike. Raise hands and step forward. Shift right, turn the left toe to the corner. Circle your hands as you push off the ball of your foot, root the right heel, and close. How did that feel? Okay?
Yeah, bumpy at the end, but
How about we do it from push? We'll just do push, single whip, and close hands. How about that? Okay? So, push, single whip, extend and flatten your hands, turn and pull all the way around, press down, release the front foot, ward off with the left, hook hand with the right, standing ward off step, deflect, strike, raise hands and step forward, shift right, turn the left toe to the corner, circle as you push off the ball of the right foot, root and close. Okay? Practice more and you'll get it. Thank you very much for coming to class, and I'll see you next week.
Thank you, Rita.
You're welcome. And I'll probably see you on Thursday, right?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
Should I try to get some sort of saber replacement, or you think I can borrow one there?
I think they probably would have one for you to borrow.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And worst comes to worst, you can always use a stick.
Okay, yeah, I know.
Okay.
See you
Thank-
Thursday, probably.
Okay,
Thank you.
see you Thursday.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.